In this video, I will teach you what powers and roots are. So let's get right to it. A power or index of a number is how many times a number is multiplied by itself. So in other words, x to the power of n means there are n amount of x's multiplied together. Let's go through some examples of the power of numbers. 2 to the power of 4 means there are 4 groups of 2 multiplied together, which equals 16. 5 to the power of 3 means there are 3 groups of 5 multiplied together to get 125. 3 to the power of 4 means there are 4 groups of 3 multiplied together to get 81. 10 to the power of 2 equals 10 times 10, which is equal to 100. 8 to the power of 7 means there are 7 groups of 8 multiplied together, which equals 2,097,152. Now, a special type of power of a number is called a square. To square a number means to raise that number to the power of 2. That is, multiply the number by itself twice. In other words, if n is a real number, then n squared is n to the power of 2. For example, 3 squared is 3 to the power of 2, which is equal to 9. Note, a squared number is also called a perfect square. So for example, since 4 squared is equal to 16, 16 is a perfect square. Another type of power of a number is called a cube. To cube a number means to raise the number to the power of 3. That is, the same number is multiplied with itself 3 times. So in other words, if n is a real number, then n cubed is n to the power of 3. For example, 5 cubed is 5 to the power of 3, which is equal to 125. Note, a cubed number is also called a perfect cube. For example, since 2 cubed is equal to 8, 8 is a perfect cube. Now, let me explain what a root is. The root of a number is the reverse or opposite of the power of that number. In other words, if the nth root of x is y, then that means x is equal to y to the power of n. Let's go through some examples of the root of numbers. If 3 to the power of 2 is equal to 9, then the root of 9 is equal to 3. If 5 to the power of 3 is equal to 125, then the third root of 125 is equal to 5. If 2 to the power of 4 is equal to 16, then the fourth root of 16 is equal to 2. If 10 to the power of 5 is equal to 100,000, then the fifth root of 100,000 is equal to 10. And finally, if 7 to the power of 9 is equal to 40,353,607, then the ninth root of 40,353,607 is equal to 7. Now, a special type of root is called the square root. The square root of a number is just the second root of that number. So, in other words, if n is a real number, then the square root of n is written as n inside a root symbol. For example, the square root of 16 is equal to 4. Another type of root is called the cube root. The cube root of a number is the third root of that number. So in other words, if n is a real number, then the cube root of n is written as n inside the root symbol with the number 3 next to it. For example, the cube root of 125 is equal to 5. I hope that everyone has learnt from this video. If you have learnt from this video, please leave a like. And if you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching.